there, it's Kristen with Hooks, Books, and Wanderlust, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with another stitch tutorial, but this one's a little different from the other ones that I've done because I'm actually redoing my very first tutorial video that I ever did. I originally did this stitched as an Instagram tutorial, and I didn't have any audio with the video at that time because it was just a short clip really. So that's not really too helpful when you're working a pattern and you really want to get some of the detail of the stitch. So I'm here to rectify that with this tutorial today. And I have here a small swatch that I've started with what I call the kiss stitch. It's really just a type of crossed double crochets that are worked over a series of 3 stitches and have a chain stitch between the 2 double crochets. And it's always, I refer to it as this way, it's worked over a row of single crochet. So it's in an alternating pattern. So just to give you a little background, I first used this stitch, kind of stumbled upon it on accident. Gosh, was it 2019, I think? April of 2019, when I went to go make a blanket and I accidentally read the chart wrong and did the entire blanket in the wrong stitch structure that ended up giving me a texture that I actually ended up really liking. So I stuck with it. So here we are, and I have this stitch pattern is featured a lot now. I've got my XOXO Throw blanket and a couple of cup cozy patterns as well that use this stitch. The blanket obviously is worked flat, whereas the cup cozies are worked in the round. So if you are interested in those patterns and tutorials, I'm going to list all of that stuff below. But for today's purposes, we are going to just work the kiss stitch flat in turned rows. So as I mentioned, we work the kiss stitch over a row of single crochet. So I've already got a swatch started, but what you're going to want to know is you need to, if you're working it flat, you're going to need to work this stitch in a multiple of 3 plus 2. And the reason for that is because the kiss stitch itself is worked over 3 stitches, but then we're going to have a double crochet to start and end our rows. So that's your plus 2. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my first double crochet. So because of the openness of these stitches, I actually just do a chain 3 and I count that as a double crochet. So when I go to start my stitches, this is a double crochet. This is the double crochet is in the first stitch here. So to start my first kiss stitch, I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to skip 2 stitches, not counting the stitch at the base of my chain 3. I'm going to start by counting. I'm going to just point it here. I think I can point better with the hook than I can with my fingers. So here we have the stitch at the base of our chain 3. I'm not going to count that. I'm going to skip 2. 1, 2, and then I'm going to double crochet into the 3rd stitch. So let me insert my hook again here. So again, we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and double crochet into the 3rd. And that's going to make our double crochet kind of diagonal. So next we are going to chain 1. That's going to give us a little gap between our cross doubles. And now we're going to go back to the first skipped stitch and we're going to double crochet there. So again, this is the first stitch where the chain 3 comes out of. We do not count that. So we had 1 and 2 skipped stitches. We're going to work our double crochet into the first skipped stitch here. I'm just going to work it over the last double crochet so that you end up with this really cute little X shape. And you've got a nice little gap in between, which we're going to work into that space later. So that's the first kiss stitch of your kiss stitch row. So again, we are going to skip 2, 1, 2, and then double crochet into the third. So skip 1, skip 2, double crochet into the third, chain 1 for that space between our double crochets, and then you're going to double crochet into the first skipped stitch, so this one here. And we're just going to repeat that across the row. So again, we will skip 2, 1, 2, double crochet into the third, chain 1, and then double crochet into the first skipped stitch. So we have the 2 skipped stitches, we're going to double crochet into that first one. So skip 2, double crochet in the third, chain 1, double crochet in the first skipped stitch, we're just going to do one last one here. So I'm going to I have 4 stitches left. So my next kiss stitch is going to be worked over these 3 here. So I'm going to skip 2 and then double crochet into the third, chain 1, double crochet into the first skipped stitch, and to end our row just like we began it, with a double crochet into the final stitch. Okay. So you can see how you get this really pretty texture and effect, some open work, but it's still really stable because of the width of the kiss stitch itself, and the cross doubles makes it nice and stable. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to work a single crochet row on top. So I'm just going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. So I'm going to do my first single crochet into the stitch at the base of that chain 1. So I'm going to single crochet 2, so 1, 2, and then I'm going to single crochet into the chain space from my kiss stitch. And I'm just going to repeat that all the way across the row. So single crochet 2, single crochet into your chain 1 space, and repeat. Okay, and once you've got your last chain 1 space, you're going to go ahead and single crochet the last 2 stitches. Now, just a reminder, the beginning of our kiss stitch row started with a chain 3, so we are going to actually single crochet our last single crochet into the third chain of that chain 3. So you got to kind of find that bump and then get under it. So single crochet into the top of your chain 3, and that is how you make the kiss stitch. So again, this stitch pattern is going to be featured, or is featured currently, in my XOXO Throw, which gives the stitch multiple there for you and instructions on how to make that for whatever size you want, not just a throw size, but if you wanted to make a baby blanket or a toddler or a crib blanket or a stroller blanket or whatever you want to make. It's a great stitch for that kind of stuff. I worked it up, and I recommend doing that if you're going to do a blanket. I love it with the bulky weight yarn. This is a CYC 5 bulky weight yarn, and it is Lion Brand's Color Made Easy. It's what I made the XOXO Throw in, and I love it because it's got like this weight to it. It's just so calming. Anyway, I really do love the texture of this stitch. And I think that, like, I've used it sometimes in some thinner yarns as well. I think it would make a really lovely garment. Like, it's got a lot of drape to it, especially if you use a bigger hook. But yeah, it's a really fun stitch, and it's really pretty easy to make because all it really is double crochets, chain stitches, and then a row of single crochet. So it's pretty beginner friendly. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give me a thumbs up below and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future tutorials and patterns. And I do have a photo tutorial for this stitch on my blog as well. I'll link that in the bottom description box for you too. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, so that's what I've got for you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell, hit that bell for notifications, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.